Welcome to Midnight Silence, a quiet space to rest your thoughts, soften your breath, and come back home to yourself. If this voice brings you peace, if these words help you feel a little less alone, please consider subscribing. Your gentle support, a like, a share, or even a quiet comment, helps us keep creating stillness for hearts like yours. Now, let's begin. It's late. The world has gone quiet. And you're here. Still awake. But not really here, are you? There's a strange kind of silence inside you tonight, not peaceful, not loud, just still. As if something folded itself in, like a tide pulling back from the shore but never returning. You're not sad. Not happy either. Not even restless, just flat. Like a page waiting for words that don't come anymore. And that's okay. Let that be the first thing we say tonight, with no urgency, no judgment. Just a whisper that drifts through the quiet, like wind across an empty field. It's okay to feel nothing. You've been carrying more than most people can see. You've held up your life when it felt like it was falling inward. You've smiled when your chest was hollow. You've shown up, again and again, even when every part of you wanted to disappear. So if tonight your heart is tired, if your feelings have turned to mist, if joy doesn't spark and tears won't come, you're not broken. You're exhausted. And your body knows. Your nervous system, your breath, the quiet corners of your mind, they're not shutting down. They're asking for silence. They're whispering, "Please, no more." There's a name for that kind of silence. Not in science, but in the soul. It's called pause. It's called protection. It's called the moment when the fire stops burning, and the smoke simply hangs in the air, soft and still. Imagine fog settling over a lake at dawn. There's no drama. No explosion. Just quiet. Just the absence of effort. And maybe, just maybe, that's what your heart needs right now. Not motivation. Not a breakthrough. Not another voice telling you to rise or grind or heal faster. No. What you need, what you deserve, is someone to sit beside you in this hush, and say with a slow, gentle breath, "You don't have to feel anything right now." You see, emotional numbness isn't failure. It's not a flaw. It's your body saying, "I can't process any more noise." There are times when crying helps. There are times when screaming sets something free. But there are also times when the greatest form of healing is to simply not feel for a while. To let your emotions go quiet because they've been so loud for so long. This isn't the end of your sensitivity. It's just rest. Not absence. Stillness. If you're listening to this in bed, take a slow breath in. And let it go just a little slower. Not because you should, but because your breath has been waiting for permission to slow down. To take up space. To soften. No more pretending to be okay. No more fixing. No more self-improvement tonight. Just this moment. Just you. Exactly as you are. You're not emotionally distant. You're emotionally weary. And there is a difference. A profound one. Because even when you feel nothing, there's a part of you that feels the absence. That notices the quiet. That longs for something, even if you don't know what it is. That part of you, the witness beneath the numbness, is still alive. Still listening. Still here. So, let's not try to wake anything up. Let's not rush the thaw. Let's just lie here together in the gentle hush of not needing to be anything or feel anything or change anything. Let this be your permission to stop reaching. To stop measuring your worth by how happy you feel, or how productive your healing is. Let this be a slow moment, folded into the night, where nothing is asked of you except to exist. Still. Whole. Soft. Quiet. And if you're wondering whether anyone understands how heavy this emptiness can be, just know, you're not alone. I'm here. With you. In the dark. In the quiet. And that's enough. For now. That's enough. There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful, but necessary. A silence that arrives not as a gift, but as a shield. And maybe You've felt it. That moment when the thoughts stop spinning, not because the answers have come, but because the mind has finally collapsed into stillness. Like a field after the harvest emptied. Like a forest after fire, smoldering. Or an ocean after storm, holding its breath. It isn't always peace that follows pain. Sometimes it's pause. A deep, vast nothingness that stretches through your thoughts like fog, blurring the edges of what used to matter. You may think, I should be feeling more. But what if this stillness is not failure, but protection? What if your mind, tired from overthinking, from holding together too many pieces for too long, simply decided to go quiet? Not to give up, but to survive. You see, burnout isn't always loud. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, by taking everything away, including the desire to keep going. This is what happens when your nervous system slips out of fight or flight and sinks into freeze. When your body, having tried everything else, decides to go still to keep you safe. You say you're fine. You function. You smile. But underneath, everything feels distant, like watching your life through a window you can't open. That's not weakness. That's emotional numbing. That's dissociation. That's your brain stepping in and saying, let's dim the lights for a while. Because the system was overloaded. Because you ran out of capacity. Because it was too much for too long. And even though that may sound clinical, there's nothing cold about it. It's the most intimate kind of care your body knows how to give you, removing sensation when sensation becomes a threat. Think of it this way. A candle flickers wildly in the wind. And when the storm gets too strong, it doesn't fight. It simply goes out. Not because it's broken, but because it knows there's no use burning in a hurricane. This part of you, the part that shuts down, goes still, feels nothing, isn't the weakest part. It's the most ancient, most knowing, most loyal part of you. It's saying, let me carry this. Let me go quiet, so the rest of you can breathe. So if you've felt numb, if your joy has dulled and your thoughts feel like echoes, don't be afraid of the silence. Sit with it. Not to fix it, not to rush it, but to understand it. There's a term in trauma therapy, the window of tolerance. It's the space where we can feel, process, engage with life without becoming overwhelmed. But when that window shrinks, because of stress, grief, overstimulation, or emotional wounds we've never been allowed to name, our systems close. They shut the curtains. They lock the doors. Not because we're weak. Because we need to feel safe again before we can feel anything at all. And this silence, this emotional flatness, this pause in your soul, it's your nervous system waiting for the storm to pass. You don't have to push through it. You don't have to rush out of it. You don't even have to understand it. You just have to trust that this stillness has a purpose. Even the trees in winter don't rush their blooming. They retreat. They save their energy until the sun returns. And you're allowed to do the same. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we don't always see, the pieces we hide, the pain we forget to feel. But even the shadow is not your enemy. It is your depth. It is your honesty. It is the part that says, this is too much, let me hold you in the dark for a while. So if you've been holding guilt for feeling nothing, release it. You're not broken. You're in pause. And one day, when it's safe again, when the air is softer, and the mind has rested, you'll feel the stirrings of something new. Not loud. Not fast. Just a quiet return. Like spring remembering how to bloom. But for now, just breathe. Just rest. This quiet may not be the ending. It may be the very beginning of your healing. There is a softness to numbness that many people miss. Not because it's gentle, but because it's hidden. Quiet. Still. Like the hush of snow on a sleeping field, or the way fog wraps a mountain without asking permission. Tonight, if you're feeling nothing, if your heart is quiet, your mind dulled, and your body hollow, I want you to know something most people were never told. Numbness is not failure. It is not weakness. It is protection. There was a moment, maybe many, when it was safer not to feel. When your system, your spirit, your nervous soul whispered, "That's enough now. Let me take it from here." And so numbness stepped in. Not as the villain, but as the guardian. It wrapped you in a heavy woolen blanket, thick enough to muffle pain, soft enough to survive a storm. It stood between you and everything you couldn't hold. The grief that had no name. The anger you were taught to swallow. The loneliness that stretched for miles inside your chest. Not feeling wasn't the absence of bravery. It was bravery. Because you kept moving. Because you got up the next morning. Because even without joy you carried on. And that's not weakness. That's endurance. Some people talk about numbness like it's a malfunction, as if it needs to be fixed or healed immediately. But that's not how the soul works. That's not how trauma works. And that's certainly not how safety returns. Sometimes your body becomes a frozen pond. Still on the surface, but only because the water underneath is too wild to rise. And instead of letting it flood, your mind gently lowers the temperature. It holds you still. It gives you distance. It offers silence until you're ready. That's what dissociation can look like. That's what emotional numbness protects. It's your body saying, "We don't have the tools for this right now. So let's keep it quiet until we do." And maybe you were just a child when that voice first spoke. Or maybe it came much later, after too many heartbreaks, too many days of pretending, too many nights spent alone in crowded rooms. Whenever it arrived, it came to help. So tonight, let's not shame the numbness. Let's not rush it away. Let's sit with it, curious, gentle, respectful. Because buried underneath that stillness are stories you've never been allowed to tell. Emotions you weren't safe to feel. Memories you tucked away just to survive the next day. Sometimes, we don't shut down because we're broken. We shut down because life didn't give us a safe place to stay open. And so we closed. Quietly. Beautifully. Without anyone noticing. And even now, even in this numb space, there is intelligence. Compassion. A strange, silent kind of love between your brain and your heart. Because your brain didn't betray you. It protected you. It carried the weight when your spirit couldn't. It built you a cocoon, so you could keep breathing. And that's what I want you to remember. You were never weak for going numb. You were wise. The child who shuts down to survive is brilliant. The adult who dissociates under pressure is resilient. And you, who listens to this now, longing to feel but unsure how, you are still here. Which means, the numbness did its job. It protected you until this moment, until the quiet returned, until you found a place where your guard could soften. That doesn't mean you have to feel everything tonight. You don't. There's no rush to defrost. No need to tear the blanket away. Instead, let it slide slowly. Like the first rays of sun on a frozen field. Like warmth soaking into the fingertips after a long, cold night. If you are feeling nothing, let that be enough. Because the part of you that feels nothing is also the part of you that remembers what it's like to feel too much. And maybe it's been carrying that memory like a stone in the chest for far too long. So tonight, let it rest. Let the numbness be a friend, not a flaw. Let it be a quiet space where healing begins not with effort, but with stillness. Let it be a place where no one demands your joy, your energy, or your explanation. Just your breath. And your presence. That's all that's needed now. Because one day, you'll feel more again. Not because you force yourself to, but because safety will return. Because your soul will exhale. Because your body will believe it doesn't have to protect you anymore. But until that day, until that soft thaw begins, rest here. In this gentle quiet. This frozen pond, this thick blanket, this hush that holds you. You are not broken. You are not gone. You are not less. You are protected. You are healing. You are here. And that is more than enough. Even now, even here, beneath the quiet, beneath the stillness, beneath the long pause you didn't ask for, there is a part of you still breathing. It may not speak loudly. It may not feel like joy, or sorrow, or anything with a name. But it's there. A soft pulse. A distant warmth. A flicker of something untouched by all the noise you've had to shut out. Let's call it the soul beneath the silence. You may not feel it right away. It doesn't arrive with drama or sound. It waits. Patiently. Like the roots of a tree still drinking from the earth even when the leaves have fallen. You haven't lost yourself. You haven't disappeared. There is a quiet aliveness beneath the numbness. A quiet self, not damaged, not broken, but resting. This self has seen you through the darkest days. It has remained still while you grieved. It has held you through dissociation. It has never left. Even when everything else did. That part of you, that small, eternal thing, knows that numbness is not the end. It's a season. A shelter. A necessary winter. And beneath that winter, your soul has stayed warm. It didn't vanish. It protected its light so that you could survive the cold. Tonight I want you to feel, not everything. Just this, the truth that even now, something inside you remains whole. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." But let's soften that too. Because awakening doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as noticing your own breath. As gentle as sensing the weight of your body on the bed. As kind as realizing, I'm still here. You don't have to do anything with that truth. You don't have to build a plan, or chase meaning, or open every locked room inside you. You just have to witness that small flicker of awareness that never went out. And maybe that's what healing actually is. Not a sudden rush of feeling, not the return of passion, but a quiet re-meeting with the self that never stopped waiting for you. A reintroduction. A soft hello. Hello you. The real you. Still here. Still breathing. Still watching through the fog. You are not the numbness. You are the one beneath it. The one the numbness came to protect. And when you're ready, not tonight, not tomorrow, but when your heart decides, you will return to yourself. Not as someone new, but as someone softened. Someone who learned to listen to the quiet places within. So let the soul stay hidden a little longer, if that's what it needs. Let it keep resting. Let it keep whispering from deep within the silence. I'm still here. You don't have to reach for it. Just know it's there. Even beneath the thickest fog, the sun still exists. Even beneath the coldest night, the fire still waits. Even beneath numbness, the soul still speaks. And tonight, it says only this: you made it through. We often grow up believing that feeling must be something loud, something obvious, something you can name: joy, grief, anger, love. But that isn't always true. And especially not for you, who has carried so much so silently. What if feeling isn't always emotional? What if it's not a flood, but a feather? Not thunder, but the softness of breath moving through your nose on a night like this. You may be listening now, thinking, but I still feel nothing. And that's okay. That's allowed. But what if nothing isn't empty at all? What if there's feeling hidden inside the stillness? The warmth of a blanket on your skin. The quiet shift of your chest as you breathe. The weight of your body sinking into your bed. These are not dramatic moments. They're not the fireworks of healing. But they are proof that you're still sensing the world. And that is feeling, too. You don't have to cry to be real. You don't have to laugh to be alive. You just have to notice. That's all we're doing tonight. Learning how to notice again. No pressure. No goals. Just slow observation. Like a child touching water for the first time, curious, uncertain, completely present. Let's try this together. Feel the surface beneath you. Notice the way your body is held. By gravity. By rest. By this moment. Can you feel the air on your face? The way your eyelids settle a little heavier? This isn't mindfulness. It's not a task. It's a return. A return to simple noticing. When we are emotionally overwhelmed, the body numbs itself, not just emotionally, but physically. Touch becomes dull. Taste becomes faded. Sound becomes far away. But slowly, softly, those senses begin to return. Not as a burst, but as a whisper. That whisper is the beginning of feeling again. Not emotion. Not yet. But sensation. And sensation is the language the body speaks when words are too much. So, if you feel a small shift, a tingling in the fingertips, a heaviness in the legs, a coolness across your skin, that's your body welcoming you back. Welcoming you home. There's a reason safety comes before feeling. The nervous system doesn't open when it's being watched, judged, or hurried. It opens when it feels held. And tonight, I want you to imagine being held. Not by anyone else, but by life itself. As if the bed beneath you isn't just fabric, but the earth itself cradling your exhaustion. As if the air in your room is wrapping around you like the most understanding embrace. One that asks nothing, demands nothing, rushes nothing. This is where feeling begins again. Not in the heart, but in the body. Not in a breakthrough, but in breath. Not in force, but in stillness. So, no matter what your mind says, no matter how long you've been disconnected, there is still something within you that knows how to feel. Something that never forgot the language of sensation. It only needed the noise to stop long enough to hear it again. So tonight, don't try to feel better. Don't chase the joy. Don't beg for sadness. Just feel something small. The way the pillow curves beneath your head. The way your breath slows without permission. The space between one heartbeat and the next. This is enough. This is profound. This is you, still here. Still sensing. Still open, even if only slightly. And maybe this is the most important thing to remember. Feeling isn't a performance. It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't need to be seen to be true. It only needs to be felt by you. So, if you're wondering, am I healing? Am I changing? Look for the small signs. Not in your thoughts, but in your senses. The gentle return of taste. The sound of your own voice. The comfort of a favorite fabric. The first moment you smell the rain and it makes you pause. That is feeling. That is life. And that is enough. Let it arrive slowly. Let it stay softly. You don't have to chase it. You just have to be quiet enough to let it come home to you. You've made it here, not to the end, but to a quiet edge. A place where nothing needs to happen next. A place where the heart, worn and weary, can finally let go. There is no lesson now. No insight to grasp. No healing you must hurry toward. Just a warm, open space where the soul can exhale. Let this moment be your permission to stop reaching. To stop performing your pain or pretending your strength. Let this be the first time in a long time you don't have to be anyone for anyone. You are allowed to rest. Truly rest, not because you've earned it, not because you finished the work, but simply because you exist. And existence is enough. Your heart has carried so many things it was never meant to hold alone. Invisible expectations. Unspoken grief. The pressure to feel whole in a world that rarely gives you room to fall apart. But tonight, there is no more carrying. You can set it down now. All of it. Imagine placing it gently beside you. Not discarding it, not abandoning it, but letting it rest too. The sadness that never found words. The numbness that overstayed its welcome. The fatigue that became part of your personality. They're all tired too. They just want to be seen, not solved. So let's see them, with compassion, not correction. Let's sit beside them, like friends who don't need to speak to feel heard. Let's whisper to the heart. You don't have to hold so much anymore. You are safe now. Safe to soften. Safe to be still. Safe to sleep. Because rest isn't something you earn. It's something you're worthy of, just by being human. It's easy to forget this in a world that celebrates effort but overlooks exhaustion. Where productivity is praised, but stillness is shamed. But your soul remembers. Your soul knows that even trees stop blooming to survive the winter. That even stars disappear behind clouds sometimes. That even the strongest tides have moments of quiet retreat. You are allowed to retreat. You are allowed to feel nothing and still be whole. You are allowed to not know what comes next. You are allowed to stop fixing yourself and just be. The heart does not heal through force. It softens slowly, through warmth, through safety, through rest. And right now, as you listen to these words, that softening has already begun. You may not feel it yet. That's okay. You don't have to. Healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it's just the absence of self-punishment. Sometimes, it's choosing quiet over explanation. Sometimes, it's giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. So let yourself drift now. Not away from yourself, but toward yourself. Toward the version of you that doesn't rush. That doesn't fix. That doesn't strive. Toward the version of you that simply breathes. That simply exists. That simply is. The numbness may not be gone. But it doesn't need to be. You don't need to feel different by the end of tonight. You only need to feel safe enough to stay. Safe enough to close your eyes. Safe enough to sleep. Let the heart rest. Let it fall not into answers, but into quiet. Let the stories untangle. Let the breath slow. Let the silence deepen. And if a part of you still resists, still reaches for understanding, that's okay too. You can hold that part gently, without needing to quiet it. You can let all your parts exist here in peace, even the ones that aren't ready to let go. This isn't about perfection. This is about presence. So as we come to the end of this quiet space together, take one more soft breath in. Feel the air fill you without effort. And let it go, just a little slower. You are here. Still here. And that is everything. Let the night take you now. Let the stillness hold you. Let the heaviness soften. And when sleep comes, as it will, let it carry you gently into dreams where nothing is asked of you. You've done enough. You are enough. Let the heart rest now. Good night.